missing stuff. So I'm sure all of us had a childhood. Some of us are still living in our childhood, but most of us have that one.
Forever and ever.
Hand in the spin, yeah.
Some of us has that one show or that one cartoon that they remembered or affected them, or you know that one episode that said, yeah, this is the one. Unfortunately, we don't have one. We have a few each.
No, of course not. We're geeks. What is this?
Even that was hard to narrow down. I was like, I just, it's too much. But yeah, go ahead.
The worst part is when I started talking about some of them to my brothers, because I told them what we were doing. And then they mentioned episodes that I forgot. I'm like, oh, remember when I said I'm sticking to the ones that I've chosen.
Yeah, the ones I can remember.
I was even watching some of the episodes of X-Men today, and like the one I originally put down, I was like, yeah, it's a good one. But then I watched another episode, and I was like, this is hard now, man. So I might have to cheat it a little bit.
Cut the side.
X-Men is the hardest.
Yeah,
it's the hardest to pick a favorite episode in that show. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And the one that I picked, I feel the reason I've picked this one, which I'll go to when you will go first with yours, but it's because it has heart.
Yeah. I think on the X-Men one, I think we're kind of all, there's something's telling me that we're either in like in sequence with what we've picked, or we're all in unison. Like it's one of the two. It's either one bit after the other.
We have chosen the same kind of animated show as well. We've all got the same on the list. So.
I love it,
guys. We just need to get into our waving suits and dive in. Let's do this.
Because of the fact that we've got this similar likes, I thought let's do it as in the order of the year it came out, in the sense of the show. So the one that I kind of sneaked in as kind of like a favourite of mine was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This one was the pilot. Yeah. The thing is though, and I've been trying to look for this as well. The pilot that I saw was like the mini movie, and so it was like the 5 episodes, and I can't actually find that anywhere. But I realized when you watch the movie, and you watch the episodes separately, there are bits that have cut out. So I've been trying to, there's some bits that have cut out. I'm sure there was that bit with Shredder when he's surrounding Splinter, and there's a bit that I can't remember exactly what bit it was, but there was a bit that they cut out. So yeah, I thought I need to put that on there because I remember having this movie and I remember constantly watching it all the time, every single day.
Yeah.
So,
that's on a VHS somewhere deep in Amazon or eBay. Like,
I remember. Now I've got the first 2 seasons of Turtles box set. Yeah. Like it's still like a regular sized DVD disc, but because there's not that many episodes. But when I used to go to my cousin's house, when I used to stay at my uncle's, my younger cousin had the VHS. Yeah. Every time I went over there, I'd watch that VHS, that little mini movie. Like,
sick.
Yeah. Those were probably that was a really good cartoon, but those were probably the best episodes, like the introduction to After that, it gets a bit clowny. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. Which is a shame. I mean, it's not a shame because it was a damn good cartoon.
Yeah.
Nice choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so second one, BeetleJuice, 1989.
BeetleJuice. Oh my god. The cartoon, of course.
Oh my days. I didn't know we were doing it like that. Oh my days. Okay. You went deep down the back. You went in.
No, that's what I said. It was so hard for me because I was like, my god, there's Bucky. I was like, no, okay, just segue. You should calm.
I'm sorry. I feel like, sorry, I'm getting excited. I'm gonna let you do what you're doing, but we need to do a sequel episode to this because I didn't know we were going like that. So you don't know, yo. I'll watch cartoons. Yeah.
Oh my god. So the episode I chose for BeetleJuice is when my girl she was like, she was asking BeetleJuice like, who are your parents, because they were cussing each other's parents, and your parents are so boring. And she was like, your parents must have liked jokes because they made you. Like, I was just like, I forgot how many like inside digs there were in this show. I was like,
that's a funny.
Wow, no wonder I have so much suck. Yeah. So like she takes BeetleJuice to see his parents, and his parents are completely opposite from him. You know what BeetleJuice is like? He's nasty, this is that. His mum is a clean freak.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The house is spotless and all that stuff. And then his dad like is a hard worker, like I think he's a grafter or some stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's just her getting to know BeetleJuice a little bit more. But like I like the episode because it's just like a nice like weird opposite of BeetleJuice kind of thing. And like I love BeetleJuice. I fucking love the show. That Addams Family, like, okay, I won't even go into
that was
more.
a sick cartoon. Don't even.
There's too much. It's too much.
We could start a separate podcast.
I know, right?
Just to do this.
Just to do this. But yeah, so that was my favorite episode of BeetleJuice.
Yeah.
Obviously, there were tons more, but like I like that one, and I like the fact that the whole animated show, like even though it was funny and rude, like there were some elements that are a little bit scary. I was like, I don't like
cartoons back then were real.
I
feel like cartoons back then made us a strong generation, whereas cartoons now are making kids soft.
Yeah, no, they made us think. They really made you think back in the day, and I was like, even though some of the stuff went over my head because it was kind of like adult, like in terms of like thought process. When I'm watching it now, I can appreciate it more because I'm just like, that is hilarious. Thank you. You know what I mean? So it's nice, man. Yeah, but that's my BeetleJuice one. That's my BeetleJuice.
Next one.
Come on, Kieran. What you got?
Right.
What's the next one? Sorry, go on, Rich. Sorry, Rich.
1992 is actually Kieran anyway. 1992, Batman the Animated Series.
Right. I've got two favorites of this, so bear with me. I'll try to be as quick as I can. The first one is from season 1. I watched it today, just to recap. I didn't watch the second one, I'm going to say, but this first one is called what's it called? I've forgotten. So it's like it's called POV. It's called POV, Point of View. And basically what it is that you got, and I think this is the episode that introduced Renee Montoya. So you had Renee Montoya, she's got a rookie cop with her, and she's heading to meet Bullock because they were supposed to be doing a sting operation. Excuse me. But Bullock went in without them, and then the criminals they find Bullock, and he's all like, so then like, they're breaking out that way. Go get the rookie goes after the two criminals going that way. Montoya goes in the building. Criminals get away. So then they're like being, these three are being investigated by the guy called them commissioner. So I don't think Commissioner Gordon was commissioner in season 1. But anyway, they're being interrogated by the commissioner, and they've all got a different account on what happened.
One of those ones.
When they see Batman, when they see Batman, so you see like Harvey Bullock's was funny because he's like, these guys were late, so I went in without them. They're like, we weren't late. So he's like, I went in without them because they were late, and I don't know what happened, but something must have startled him. What startled him was the fact that he slipped on the can and tripped over. The criminals, by the way. So now they're aware of him, and they're about to like kill him away. But then Batman shows up, and he's like, basically Bullock trips over, alerts the criminals, sets the building on fire somehow.
Wow.
The Batman had to come and save him. The criminals get away. Then Batman had to save Bullock. So then Bullock's like, Batman almost ruined the entire investigation. He's lucky I was there to save his lousy I don't want to liar. That was funny. And then he gets out. So then it goes to the rookie story. The rookie story is like, I saw Batman too. After I was told to go this way, I caught the villains and the guys in the alley. But then Batman showed up out of nowhere. He just lands. He looks taller than he is. I wrote notes to say what the rookie guy said. Hang on a sec. So when he's describing Batman, now we all know Batman is human. Yeah, it's a man in the costume. So he says when he saw Batman, he opened his hands, and sparks flew out. What he did, he's like, the car's coming towards him, so he threw those spikes that pop tires. Threw those, Batman threw those, but the rookie thought he was throwing like sparks out of his eyes.
Hilarious.
So then that happened. Then he said, Batman, next thing you know, Batman opens up his fingers. And some sort of ray comes out. And you know he's got that electrified grappling ray. He shoots that that into the car and drags the door off. And the last thing that he said was, then he pointed at the crook, and the crook fell down. So you see Batman. So to this guy just looked like Batman pointed at the guy, and he fell down. What it was is, it was a batarang. Well done, it was a batarang. And it was just so funny. Each of their, I forgot Montoya's. I'm gonna be honest with you. Man. I fell asleep on the last bit.
It's fine.
I forgot what Montoya's bit was, but each of them have such a different account on what their version of Batman was like. So funny. That is like a classic. And man, I have to say that cartoon is art. It is so. Yeah. There's a bit where the criminals are coming out of the building, and the music that goes with it, with just them coming out of the building, was brilliant. It had such a good score to it. The voice acting was dope. And I loved when Montoya was driving the car. You see in the movie in America, police officers might be in a police car, and they've got shotgun holstered in the car. You ever seen that in a movie before?
Yeah.
He had the shotgun there, and I'm thinking, you never see that now. Shotgun live sitting there. Then they come out with the shotgun. But anyway, that was the second episode I watched. The second episode, which was my favorite, is one called Almost Got Him.
Ooh.
This one is an episode. Catwoman's got missing.
Oh no.
And what it is that the criminals, Batman's rogues, have her hostage to lure Batman, but they're all having a conversation. So we've got Joker, we've got Killer Croc, we've got Two-Face, and I forget who else. But they all have an account of who came closest. Who came closest to killing Batman? And then in each, Riddlers were there. So it's got little segments of what happens when they almost got Batman, when they almost got him. And it's funny, throughout the whole episode, Killer Croc is like, nah, that's nothing. I'm the best. I got the best story.
I think I remember this
when it comes to Killer Croc. Yeah, when it comes to Killer Croc's story, it doesn't even have a flashback. He's like, right, fine, Croc, what's your story? I hit him with a rock. And everyone's like... And then there's the silence. It's like, it's a really big rock. But then,
little Killer Croc.
It was funny. What was dope about that episode, spoilers, is that I forgot how it gets to this bit where it turns out that we all know Batman is like a master. No, he's not just the world's greatest detective, but he's a master of disguise.
Oh yeah.
He dressed himself up as Killer Croc, pulls the stuff off, and then it's just Batman murks all of them and saves Catwoman. That's like got to be one of my favorite episodes of Batman. Even as a little kid, and I hadn't seen Batman in years, from when I was a little kid up into my 20s, I always remembered that line with Killer Croc. Always remembered it because it just sat with me. It was sick. So anyway, that was
sweet.
What's next?
Okay.
What you got, Kieran?
Next one is something that we've all put on. It's X-Men animated series.
Yep.
So hard. Who would like to go first? Okay.
Go on, Rich. Go on, Rich.
I would be shocked if this wasn't on any of our lists. Like,
okay.
Come on. Yeah.
So it is hard.
Go on, Rich.
It is hard. At first, I had episode 2 of season 2, which was Till Death Do Us, part 2, and that was when Sinister. This was after Sinister got morphed to trick Magneto and Xavier to meet in the Savage Land, and they got ambushed. This one was this one was after the wedding actually, of Cyclops and Jean.
Gambit.
Oh, yeah, no, Cyclops.
After their fake wedding, Morph married them.
That's it.
On their way to the honeymoon, and I forgot his name. One of the nasty boys. He was like, "Ahoy there! I've got a message for you."
Oh yeah.
Oh, the one who goes.
screams.
He screams.
Scream? Yeah, he screams.
Looks at Gene and is like,
I can't remember his name. Yeah.
Okay, what is it? It's like,
It's
just,
and I just like all of that with the fighting. It's just the quotes that they have in this episode as well, and then so like this episode was one of my favorites, but then this episode was like the second episode of season 2. But then you go to the end of the season, and it's kind of like it's happening again in a way, because this is after. Because in season 2 is the whole madness. The whole season is it cuts between Magneto and Xavier going through the Savage Land, like going through some madness, while there's other stories happening. And by the end of it, all the X-Men realize what's happening. They find Xavier, and there's the last episode of season 2. I can't remember the name of it now. And what's it called? It's called Reunion Part 2. And basically, they've all the X-Men found out that Xavier is in the Savage Land. They're all in the jet, and they're flying over. They're flying over, and it's all cloudy, and they're like, Wolverine's like, so we're basically walking into a trap. And it's like, we've gone into a trap. And it's like, good, let's do this. And then the music is just, and then it flies down. And I remember it saying when I was a kid, it was to be continued. And then like that was like the most effed up cliffhanger ever, man.
I remember when you brought that over to my house. When you brought that episode over, it was the worst. It was the greatest thing, because obviously it raised me. But when you used to bring those over, I had to wait. I had to wait a whole week.
Yeah.
To see the next episode. Oh man.
And then they land, and they've all lost their powers. And I always remember this bit, and this is why I hate, one of the reasons why I hate the movies as well, because one of the guys from the Savage Land. They came to the X-Men, and they was fighting them, and Storm says to him, I don't need the elements to fight with a toad like you, and she just mashes him up. And that kind of when in the movie when she says, what happens to it?
What happens to it?
Yeah, it kind of that line. Yeah, it was like they tried to.
That's why I hate the movie so bad.
You know what? I remember being in the cinema, seeing them. I remember how I was when that scene came on. I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, what's she going to say?
Everything else.
Like, I thought it was going to be like a dope line, because I'm all about dialogue, and I love great one-liners. So I thought I was going to be like, oh my God, what's she going to say? Everything else.
That's the thing. Like even with the animated series, Storm always had something to say, and she always had some knowledge to put down. You know, so that's what you was expecting, but that didn't happen.
Like Storm and the X-Men after girls was like, you got Jean, you got Storm, you got Rogue, Jubilee, Kitty. Storm always seemed like big sis.
Yeah. She was big auntie.
Yeah, or auntie. She was the big one. Do you know what I mean?
Rogue was sis. Jean was like, you know, the auntie that you sometimes invite to the barbecue, but sometimes she's bare moany, but you love her anyway. You know. And then Kitty's like the small kids that are running around. Yeah. She's bare cool. You know what I mean? Because she'll be like, oh, hey, look, Uncle's doing that weird drinking thing in the corner. Like she's. You know, I
felt like Storm was always that one. Yeah. It's a shame that they messed up.
Those two are my favorites, but then I kept on watching it, and I got onto the Phoenix Saga. There's that one episode when they're trying to kidnap Lalandra, and Juggernaut says something to Lalandra.
Oh, when they go to Muir
when they
go to Scotland, or was it Muir, when they meet?
Muir Island,
that episode was
so there's that episode.
Days. Yeah, that's when they introduce
Juggernaut. What's his name?
That guy's brother, that guy's stepbrother, and you got
Eric the Red.
Eric the Red. That's it.
Gladiator.
Eric the Red. That guy with the beard.
Yeah.
Gladiator.
Gladiator comes down.
That was a great episode.
Gladiator comes down and
he comes
you
down.
just see the hands.
I remember watching that as a kid. I was like, Superman. Yeah, Superman. I was like, what's happening here?
And then Juggernaut's like, why don't you just go back to where you came from or something like that? And he tries to punch him, and he just doesn't move, and he picks him up and just dashes him. And Jubilee's like, what the? I've never seen anyone do that to Juggernaut. And Gambit's just like, no one from Earth. Yeah, it's sick.
There's too many episodes in X-Men.
Yeah,
way too many.
Go on. What's you guys?
Kieran, me? Okay. There's okay. So I love the beginning one because it was the beginning one where Rogue, Gambit, and Storm are in the mall.
Yeah.
And obviously Jubilee's like her story of like, you know, running away, and the Sentinel, just the sound of the Sentinels, just like like it's just and she's running through the thing, and then that's when you first get to actually see them, and then Rogue's like, what the hell is going on? And then Storm's like, and then she just transforms. I'm like, I love who this person is, like, because obviously I had the like original VHS of like the first ever pilot movie, like episode of
the Kitty Pryde
of
one.
X-Men. The Kitty Pryde one, that one was hard when they had like Dazzler, like
I've not seen that episode. I've got the X-Men box set. It's not even on there.
It's like
it's a different.
Like, if you get a chance to watch it,
different creators.
Yeah, it's like. Yeah, they switched it up. They were good, but it was just like it was good. But so I like the beginning, like the first episode. But then I like obviously my favorite is Rogue. Rogue, when she's having to fight.
That was sick.
Because I was trying to take over. Like that one was hard. And there's an episode.
MCU fans, you think you like Captain Marvel because it like you don't even know about she was Miss Marvel, and Rogue basically raped her mind.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
And she was a badass as well. She wasn't even like, no, I'm Ms. Marvel. With everybody up. Like she was like, I'm not even here to be chatting to you lot. You know what I mean? Like the part where she ripped the plane open and then closed it. I was like, what's happening? What's happening? Like, you know, as a child, I'm like, who's this person? Like, you know what I mean? And then there was obviously anything with Apocalypse.
Yeah, the Days of Future Past.
Just my heart. Like, like
that episode where. Sorry, go on.
No.
Just that episode where Bishop. No, Bishop's already in the past.
Yeah.
Stop the whatever, but then Cable comes.
But that's the thing.
Messed up. So he's trying to stop Cable, and what I love about that two-part is that the X-Men actually die in that episode.
They did.
I'm like, whoa, come on.
So that was the thing with that. What made this so sick was the Days of Future Past was in season 1. And then the continuation was in season 2, and that was like midway through season 2, and it was Time Fugitives. And then Cable, and you're like, I've seen this before. I've seen this episode before, but it's different.
Everything's so familiar.
It was mad. Like things like that, and then like I remember one episode of like X-Men. But it was just a funny bit where you know the guy who screams. They were trying to break into somewhere, and he was holding Wolverine, and obviously he's screaming, but he's flying. Everybody else is flying, and Wolverine's like, "They're gonna know we're coming!" Like he just drops this line. I was just like, jokes. Like
he had one-liners in that show. Actually.
Yeah, the one-liners they're hilarious. But yeah, things with more sinister, like you said, Rich, they're just great. Like
I think it was in the latter part of it. Well, I think it was like in the latter part of season 2, which is the same with the Nasty Boys, and there's a part where they go and pick up like they're looking for Morph, and he's in like this what's it called, Jekyll and Hyde play thing, and then and then Cyclops and they're there with him, and he's saying, "Yo, Morph, we know it's you," and he's like, "Shh, he can hear us," and then the guy like plasticine guy, he takes Wolverine, and there's that fight with Wolverine, Cyclops, and the Nasty Boys, and then they've kind of got Cyclops all held up, his hands are tied or whatever, And then Jean's like, Wolverine's getting beaten up, and she's like, Wolverine. And then she turns to Scott, she's like, Scott. And she uses her mind to open up his glasses, and he's like, and then you see one of the nasty boys, he's like, it's just that little bit of animation of him realizing that, those little bits is what makes it really special to me. But I love seeing that little expressions.
Oh, and one more thing, sorry. This is one I really liked because none of the X-Men could really stop this mutant. I can't remember what it's called, but he was like this big, he kind of looked like the Thing, but he was like
McTaggart's son. I watched that one recently.
Proteus,
and he could just like alter everything. Yeah. And Wolverine tried to jump on him one time, and he just dismantled his body but put him back together. Yeah. I loved that episode.
What was brilliant about that episode was Wolverine, because it shook him.
Yeah,
genuinely shook him.
Yeah,
he didn't want to fight anymore. It broke.
He did a Hulk after Thanos.
That man had been through so much. We all know Wolverine. He's gone through so much. He's been through souls. He's had X amount of girlfriends murdered.
Yeah,
he's been so much, and it took for this one guy to mess with his head a little bit to make him scared. That was a brilliant episode, man.
It was.
And this is, you know what? Sorry, real quick. I was on Disney Plus today, and I was showing my son like these episodes, like not episodes, but like these cartoons. And I was saying to him, like, these modern ones, they're crap. They're not like the ones we grew up on. And he's like, and I said, I don't mean to sound like an old guy. He's like, yeah, Dad. I was like, kind. Look at this Spider-Man. Look at this modern day Spider-Man. I've watched this cartoon. They focus too much on just throwing Spider-Man at Spider people at you. And some of the episodes, they don't even have shadows. Look at this whole cartoon. They go, do you know what I mean? These modern Marvel cartoons,
they're not up to par.
Man, come on, man. You just need to watch to see.
Yeah. What's your favourite episode? What's your favourite?
Right, so
I feel like we're just talking about.
I know, right?
No. So let's try and be okay. My favorite one is One Man's Worth, when Fitzroy and that little green guy, is that their names? Basically, where Bishop and his sister have to go back in time to save Charles Xavier, and in the beginning of that episode, Storm and Wolverine are having a picnic, and time literally changes around them. Next thing you know, they're in a war, and Magneto is leading them. There's no Charles Xavier. He's leading these people, and they love him. He's so revered. They're like, he's the, what did they call him? The leader or something like that?
Yeah, the leader.
Yeah. And one of my favorite bits in that episode, I'll get to why I like this episode, but one of my favorite bits, because I didn't realize this until I got older, is there's a scene where Beast is like, oh no, here come the mutates. And the mutates, I don't know if you know this, Isha, but in Marvel, you've got the mutants who are like, but then people like Captain America, Spider-Man, and
they were mutates.
They're mutates. So they come in, and you've got Scarlet Witch, not Scarlet Witch, you've got Scarlet Spider, Giant Man, you've got Wasp, and you've got, I'm missing someone important, Captain America.
Okay.
But they look different. So you have to, I remember watching it recently and I paused it and I was like, that's he's there. Yeah. It's so sick. But the point of this episode is that you got Bishop and his sister, they recruit Storm. They recruit Storm and Wolverine, who are a couple in this universe, and they look dope. Storm's got the mohawk. And
Storm's evolution is just go ahead.
And like this episode has everything in it. It's like there's
Nimrod was sick.
Nimrod's in it, and there's a bit where they go to a bar. They go to a bar just to kind of talk so that they can understand what's going on. But because Shard and Storm are black, there's like, so he makes a comment about these disgusting people in my bar, and then the waitress sees Logan and Storm holding hands, and he's like, "They're doing what?" He's like, he freaks out, mama. That's real shit. That is real shit. But I just love that, by the end of it, when they save Xavier, Storm and Wolverine have to basically, it's like a breakup, but not a breakup.
Yeah, a time up.
It's like a time. It's literally time is up, and it's like Bishop's like, when you take the bands off, you'll just everything will go back to normal. And they're like, how much charges on the band? He's like, what was it, an hour or something? Most people being selfish, because I feel like I would do this. When I was watching this thinking I would have left it on. Would have just took all the time you could with that person, but what they did, they just held each other. Brilliant episode. Xavier being like young and naive, and he feels like he's the only one. It's like, how did you know I'm a mutant? And he just didn't believe. Not even that, he didn't want the life. He didn't say anything. Ran away when these people kept coming after him. He ran. He didn't want to know. And again, like in the upper episode I mentioned, Xavier dies in the first one. He died.
He's always dying, man.
He's a villain anyway.
That's true. We have to remember we can't really like Professor Xavier, okay? It's just we've watched Legion. We know, okay.
Oh man, but this was just my favorite. It was really, really hard to pick, because when I was telling my brother that I picked this one, he was like, nah, he likes the one where Bishop is out of time and Apocalypse is trying to gather all the psychic. That is a brilliant episode. A man's worth was this one had
heart. But the entire X-Men catalogue, season 1, 2, phenomenal. It's just phenomenal. Like it's just great. Like
what's next?
What's next? Sorry, let's move on. Watch him like now it's Spider-Man time.
I paused and finished. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
we should actually probably do.
Someone put Gargoyles on here. Are you lot? What?
I had to go there.
No, I can't talk about Gargoyles, man.
Go on, Rich. Go.
I think monsters on it. I'm just looking at those.
Gargoyles was yours, Isha. Yeah.
Oh, it was mine. Okay, so all right. When did it drop?
94.
Damn. Wow. Okay, so.
Sorry, I have to say, Gargoyles was so good that mum used to sit with us and watch this.
Yeah, I was saying to Rich, even though people watched it, it was a really underrated animated TV show. Like it was leaps and bounds like ahead, and the animation itself was smooth. Like it's the smoothest like I've ever seen. Okay, so Gargoyles, I was trying to think. I had to like go and have a look at some of the episodes, but I was like, I really like the first episode. Just as
titled like a movie, because someone I knew. Remember Dave? I don't want to say his name. He's not getting play on my podcast. There was a kid on our block, and he had it as like the first few episodes as a movie. I remember I watched that all the time as well. That was sick.
Yeah. So like the first episode it flipped from present to past. So like you had like the old school people having a war, and I think they were trying to destroy the gargoyles and stuff. And obviously like the gargoyles come to life at night time, so the sun was setting, and in New York it's nighttime, and at the top of this massive building, all this rubble starts to come down on like the New York streets and whatever, and there's the introduction of this woman. I think she's a police officer, and she's like, oh, what makes these marks on the top of a boulder? Like, what's big enough to make a, you know what I mean, like a mark on the boulder and stuff like that. And I can't remember what else happened, but I liked the first episode because it's just like a nice introduction of how they came from. I remember
what happened. I'll take over. I know what happened.
Go.
I'm telling you, I'm not disrespecting you in the sense that you didn't like that show, but I don't think anybody, I challenge anyone.
I love that show.
Maybe my younger brother, maybe my younger brother, he knows that show. But no one is as big a fan of Gargoyles. I've still got toys. I'll go grab
I used to have the toys of Gargoyles. I loved them. But yeah, go on. Tell them what happens after the storm. Yes, what happened?
Wait, where did you leave off? Sorry.
So the rubble's all down on the street, and the woman's like, what's big enough to make that giant like?
Lisa Marza is her name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So big like scratch mark on the big boulder and thing. So, and then I can't remember what else it cuts to, but I remember obviously seeing the gargoyle. But yeah, God, just tell everybody what happens because I can't remember.
Real quick, you know what I like about it is that the main human character. This show was quite progressive. The main human character was not only female.
Yeah.
She was mixed race, but she was black because I think her mum was Afro Latina. No, her mum was African. I forget where in Africa, so I'm not trying to be. And I forgot her dad was Native American.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that was. Come on, like how many characters are Native American in any show?
Yeah. And female.
At least Samaza was dope, man.
Yeah.
Anyway,
she was kind of hot for a cat.
As far as where cartoons go.
Yeah.
Hey, Goliath saw it.
Oh my god, I love that. Do you remember that? Okay, hit everybody with the names of the gargoyles, okay? Just hit everybody with the names, okay? Come on.
We have Goliath.
Leader of the gargoyles. Second in command was Brooklyn. Then we had Broadway, who was the muscle. He's the one who ate. Then we had Lexington, who was like the smart guy. I remember when he first sees the helicopter and they're like, what is that? Some sort of monster? He's like, no, it's a machine. I was like, Lex, man, come on. Then we've got Hudson, who's like the old timer. He's the one who was probably like the librarian, kind of thing.
He was like, I think he was leader before Goliath took over. Then we had one of the best ones of all, Bronx. Guard dog. And like when they got to New York, when they wake up in New York, they all pick names of like New York areas, which was dope. And then Demona, who's Goliath's crazy ex-wife, who's so insane. Her story, where she makes the pact with Macbeth to have immortality. She turns human during the day.
Mad.
Macbeth feels her pain, and you're hearing me say Macbeth. Yes, it's that Macbeth. By the way.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Macbeth. And then she and Goliath had a daughter that they didn't know about, Angela. Angela was a sick character.
Mad.
Brooklyn and Broadway liked her, and you think that she's gonna go for Brooklyn, but she goes for Broadway. That show had everything. Sorry, I forgot what you said, but it doesn't even matter. Like,
it's okay. Yeah, that was my favorite episode. Was the first episode because there was
she goes up the stairs, and then she sees what's going on, and then I can't remember now. I'm so excited.
I can't remember what exactly happened, but yeah, it's just.
But Gargoyles show up and she makes friends.
I can't remember.
She goes up there.
I can't remember any of them.
I need to rewatch it. I don't even know who made them. Like, I'm just like, someone just pick it up.
Oh, I know it was Greg Berlanti. You know who does Young Justice?
Oh, is it?
That was him. So that's the other thing. When I found out that the guy who did Gargoyles was doing Young Justice when Young Justice first came out,
made sense.
I was hooked on Young Justice.
Yeah, that's nice, man.
Young Justice from then. So it was Greg Berlanti.
But it is on YouTube.
Sorry, Greg Berlanti is I got the name wrong. Greg Berlanti is the guy who does The Flash.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna do a quick Google because that's gonna bug me.
Okay. I don't know DC. I'm just agreeing, but there are some episodes on YouTube.
Greg Wiseman.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so it's still a Greg. It's still a Greg.
What are you telling about YouTube for? Well, she's dope. She means well. But if you want to watch Gargoyles, it is now on Disney Plus.
Oh, is it on Disney? Okay,
it's
that's fine.
Disney Plus,
okay,
and
that's
it's
fine.
on my list.
Okay, that's fine. Go to Disney. That's fine. All the episodes will be on there. It's okay. Don't worry about you.
Sorry, it's not Greg Berlanti. It's Greg Wiseman. I'm sorry. When I found out that Greg Wiseman was doing
Young Justice,
blah 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 blah.
Okay, cool. But yes, that was the first episode. Was my favorite because it's the introduction, and it was just I was hooked from that. Like, it was amazing. So I really like that. So what we got next?
Meeting Xanatos. Wasn't Xanatos a great villain?
Yes.
But what I like about him is that he was complex. He wasn't just a bad guy. He was almost as good as Lex Luthor, if not possibly better. Then, because he was like.
I need to watch that series again. Damn, I've got too many things to watch now.
David Xanatos was the man. He was sick. He was a sick villain.
Aficionado. Is that what you call him? Aficionado.
You need to get him a t-shirt again.
We got Oberon and his wife Titania from Mid. The thing is, one thing my brother put it to me like this, but I didn't even realize it. Gargoyles takes from all kinds of lore. You know what I mean? Because you've got not just lore, but stories as well. You've got Macbeth. You've got Oberon and Titania from Midsummer Night's Dream, which is both
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, which is like Shakespeare. Then we've got Odin. We've got Odin from Norse mythology because Goliath had the eye of Odin. Then he was like, well, this is all kinds of mythology in this show. It's
alright, guys.
Can you imagine the amount of research they would have had to do to make that show? It's crazy. Nobody's working that hard in cartoons, man. For cartoons,
really not.
For kids.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you lot back in the day, boy.
Because of all the tech that they have, apparently kids nowadays have a short attention span. They couldn't watch Gargoyles.
Nah.
Today, man.
Nah. Oh man. Okay, what we got next? We could talk about Gargoyles all day.
Well, we're on the hour and 38 mark now.
Okay, should we do part 2?
We should sequel this episode, I think.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got some good
Let's
ones.
do that.
Also, we're going to talk about. I was just going to say we're going to talk about the episodes that we were supposed to, but we're going to digress.
This was it's turning out to be a bigger episode than we anticipated. We just love this shit.
We do, man.
Tell you guys, if you want to listen to a show with purists who genuinely have love for this stuff, you need to hoist yourself up and just kick up the source wall, man.
Yeah, that's
it. Okay, so we've got a bit of obviously it's a bit of a spoiler, but if you see our messages on Facebook or Twitter, you well, actually no. Sorry, I'm tired right now. I'm trying to remember what I did earlier. I can't remember if I've actually put what we are gonna watch on there, but I was gonna say if you see what we've put on, tell us what you like, what episodes you guys enjoy, and we can get into it.
Join the party, man.
Yeah. We could even mention some of the ones that you said. So
I know. There's loads of Rocco's Modern Life. There's loads.
The first few seasons of Rugrats. I feel like Rugrats.
Now we're just adding more on now. See?
Okay. Let's end it because us three, as tired as Rich is. I know that you say the right TV show, my man is lit, and he's like, maybe we can fit it in, So let's just end it here. We're gonna catch up with y'all next week. We're gonna put some content up on the lines, on the Facebooks, the socials. You can join us, you know what I mean? Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud, iTunes, Twitch, YouTube. We're there, okay? Streaming live from Twitch. And as you know, Rich says, if you want to get some merch, a little jumper, a handkerchief, a little cup, it's the source wall at teesprings.com, TEE, not tea, not the ones you drink. Okay, so get out, but get your
20% off, the source 20.
The source 20. Put it in, get some teas. You know what I mean? And as Kieran always says, issue 85.
I'm for an issue. This is serious.
Yes.
Don't forget to bring a sandwich.
Peace, guys.
Thank you, guys.
See you next week.
Peace out, everybody.